Imagine finding a box buried under the earth, piece of history kept with secrets about the past. Time capsules have been buried for centuries with a unique glimmer into what people did long before we did. So what really makes these capsules so fascinating? And what is it that these capsules say for the future and as much about the past? Today, let's journey onto the interesting realm of time capsules, mystery theories, and discoveries. Time capsules are an intentional act of preserving objects, messages, or documents to be opened at a later time. The concept of time capsules is not as new as it may seem. This actually dates back to ancient civilizations when items were sealed in tombs or buried under the foundations of buildings. It was in the 20th century, however, that actually made time capsules popular. People wanted to leave a message for generations to come so that people would know what life had been before. Such capsules usually included newspapers, personal messages, photographs, and other objects characteristic of the time that they were designed in. So why do people bury time capsules? What is the purpose of leaving a message or objects for people hundreds, even thousands of years from now? The answer is quite simple: curiosity drives humans. Everyone thinks of one thing: what will the future be? Will our technology be outdated? Will our messages make sense? Time capsules help us communicate with people of the future, closing the gap between generations and cultures. It is a unique way to preserve not just artifacts but the essence of a time. Over the years, many time capsules have been created. Let's look at a few of the most famous ones. For instance, during the 1939 New York World's Fair, a time capsule was buried with a selection of items meant to represent life in 1939. What is interesting, however, is that this capsule was not meant to be opened until 1500 AD, almost 3,000 years in the future. Just think about it, a message to people of a somewhat extremely faraway future about how life used to be the evening before the war. Here is the crypt of civilization, buried back in 1936 at Oglethorpe University in Georgia, United States of America. And this capsule of time might as well have been the biggest time capsule that could ever exist. It's got everything from documents about the world's history to samples of our technology, and it's sealed for 6,000 years. The idea was that people way off in the future would be able to learn of our civilization in entirety, although that would do them little good if society had changed much by then. While some time capsules will open after a certain number of years, many will never be opened. You see, not every time capsule was unearthed when it was supposed to be. Many of them are lost in history, sometimes due to misplacement, and the most simple explanation is that people forget about them. Consider, for example, the Pioneer plaque, buried in 1974. It has a message that is intended to be read by extraterrestrial life. This capsule, set to be recovered in the distant future, holds our hopes to communicate with aliens, or at least be discovered by those in the distant future. More than a time capsule, it is a declaration of humanity's existence waiting to be discovered. But let's dig a little deeper into why some of these time capsules haven't been found. There are a few possible theories here. First, the concept of preservation. Time capsules are often buried without consideration given to inevitable deterioration of materials. Over time, the very act of burying an object can cause it to break down, be damaged by soil erosion, or even be completely destroyed by environmental factors. So there is a possibility that these capsules may never come to be found. Then there's human error. Time capsules might be sealed with a plan, but when poorly documented records or construction plans change, the intended location cannot be ascertained. Imagine burying something and forgetting the spot after 2 decades. That's a real possibility for many time capsules. Well, finally, future discoveries. Maybe what if opening these capsules in the future is not as grand as we take them today? For instance, times will be changed, and by then even the artifacts which would seem necessary to us at a certain time would have zero value for any other human to come along with a view from their eyes in the future. But the bigger question is, what do time capsules tell us about our own perceptions of the future? What people choose to put inside says something fundamental about how they see their own era. The objects we place in time capsules, like newspapers, books, gadgets, are symbols of our hopes, fears, and ideals. And when these capsules are opened in the future, they might get a glimpse of our thought process about what was important to us. But that doesn't mean that the next generations will necessarily understand all we thought to be important. They might laugh at our technology. Our gadgets, which look revolutionary today, could become outdated or laughable a few hundred years from now. The irony in this is that the very future that we're trying to communicate to may be too different for us to understand it completely. Time capsules speak beyond history. They speak for who we are and how we have understood the world. They reveal to us our hope for the future and our fear of being forgotten. But then again, it raises a vital question: what can we really preserve in this changing world where technology and culture evolve and advance more rapidly than ever? And what will those future generations be saying when our buried treasures finally come to the surface? Can they understand us, or we are just leftovers in a forgotten book of history? Perhaps the mystique of the time capsule doesn't lie in what we'll leave behind, but in how we'll be understood by the people of the future.